Hey guys, Josh, Happy Little Landscapes. Today we painted a Bob Ross original season 24 episode 1 called Gray Mountain. It turned out really, really good. It's been a long time since I've painted with Bob or tried to follow along with one of his tutorials. And over the last year and a half that I've been painting, I've actually learned a lot on how to make these things look like he does. So if you want to learn to paint this painting, follow along with us, watch, and see what you can do. See if it comes out as well or even better. So I hope you do. I hope you follow along and get ready because I'm going to show you what colors we need. It's literally every color in the Bob Ross set. You need every single color. And a few brushes. So Bob will tell us as we paint along. You'll be able to watch me paint it, see if I can't keep up. And, we're going to get started with it. Ready? 1, 2. No snap today. Just roll the film. Season 24, episode 1, I think it's called Gray Mountain, something like that. He uses literally every single color that Bob Ross offers. Okay, so we got every single color on the palette. Sap green, phthalo green, Van Dyke brown, dark sienna, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, midnight black, titanium white, bright red, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, and cadmium yellow as it starts to drip off of my palette. So we're going to hit the, we've already covered the canvas with Bob Ross liquid white. Just want enough to be able to see your fingerprint. Remember, go to Happy Little Landscapes on Instagram at Happy Little Landscapes, Facebook.com/HappyLandscapeArt, Etsy.com/shop/HappyLandscapeArt, and of course subscribe right here on YouTube. And we're going to see if we can't do this and keep up. It's been probably a year and a half since I tried to follow along with Bob. Ever since I learned the technique, I've just kind of gone off on my own direction. So we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully the wig will help inspire us, right? So we're going to get right to it. Clean off my brush from liquid whiting. Well, that was embarrassing.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 24th Joy of Painting series. If this is your first time with us,
this is not my first time, Bob.
A personal invitation for you to drag out your brushes and some paints and paint along with us each show.
Get your crap out and let's paint, baby.
Allow me to thank you for inviting us back.
I've got a 16 by 20 canvas, by the way.
Tell you what, let's get started today and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us at home. And while they're doing that, let me show you what I've got up here. I have my standard old 18 by 24.
That is not an 18 by 24 inch canvas. That's like a 24 by 24.
Stretched double prime canvas. Then I've covered the entire canvas.
I found that he says 18 by 24 for almost everything, even when it's not.
White is an oil-based paint that allows us to actually.
We got it, Bob. Let's go.
Up here on the canvas rather than working ourselves to death on the palette. Just makes painting easy. So it's a fantastic day here.
This is gonna be fun. See if we can't keep up. It's gonna be a mess.
So let's start out with the old 2-inch brush, with a little tiny one.
2-inch brush.
A little bit of the Indian yellow, just a small amount on the 2-inch bruch. Load a little color on the brush.
Where are we going, Bob?
Here. Maybe we'll have a beautiful little sky that's just full of warm colors that, as I say, sort of makes you feel good when you look at it.
Look at it, not even prepared.
Making little X's, little crisscross strokes go all the way across the canvas, like so. Just about like so. I think we'll have a little water in here. I love water.
Do some water, Bob.
Gorgeous. And it's very easy to paint with this technique.
Okay, done. Let's call it done. Call it done, Bobby.
I'll tell you what, without cleaning the brush, let's just go into a little bit of the yellow ochre.
The yellow ochre.
We do not need a great deal of paint here, just a little paint. Go right above the yellow. Still making our little crisscross strokes, little X's. And just like that, we'll lay down a little bit of the yellow ochre. Here, yellow ochre is sort of a nice gold color. It's beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful gold color, Bob. Serenade me with your sweet voice.
We'll reflect a little of that into our water.
Yep. You might have I've watched this once. so I could kind of prepare, knew what we had to do here.
Crazy. Time to get crazy. Let's go.
Let's get crazy.
Bright red. Instead, we haven't washed the brush. Just a little bit of the
Bright red, baby.
And right up here, making our little X's, little crisscross strokes.
Bright red.
Add a little bit of that. And red's such a warm color. It just makes you feel good when you look at it.
Oh, it feels so good, Bob. It makes me feel good.
Just sort of warms up your whole day. But too much of it will set your world on fire. So all we want is just a nice pinkish, reddish glow up here in the sky.
Pinkish, reddish
That's what
glow.
we're looking for today.
All right.
And while I have that on the brush, we'll just add a little of that down here too. And the water, we're just going to reflect the same basic colors that we have in our sky.
Same basic colors.
There. Now then, still haven't washed the brush. I look for ways that are easy. In technical terms, that's known as laziness.
Lazy painter, baby.
We'll take a little bit of the phthalo blue and alizarin crimson, mix them together, right on the brush.
Just quickly, since Bob never finishes the sides of his canvas, I'm going to take the time and just finish over the edges of mine. You never know when someone buys your painting, if they're going to frame it or not, if they intend not to. So, what do we always say, guys? Finish the sides. Look at this wig. It's gigantic. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Try not to get paint on my iPad. All right, I say, let's do this up here. And then we can get back at it, Bobby. Nice little pinkish, orangish little sky up here, guys. Actually, I'm not even going to lock it down because I know he's going to go one more time at the top.
Let's go right up in here. And with that color, it's sort of a lavender color, we'll just
Alizarin crimson,
off of the sky.
little blue, right?
Phthalo blue and alizarin crimson.
Oh shit, he's already there.
You can take this to the blue side or the red side. Just sort of depends on your mood and how you feel. It's strictly and completely up to you.
I don't think mine is dark enough.
Look here.
Look here, Bob. Let me finish the sides real quick. And then we're not going to take any more breaks, right? We're going to see if we can't do it. Oh yeah, there's the purple we want. A little bit on the corners. I'm going to finish the sides like we always do, guys. Guys, finish the sides. Blend that down. Really lock her down here so we don't move anymore. Bring that brush hair. Alright, we went all the way across the top, so let's go all the way across the top. No wonder he has such a big palette. You use this 2-inch brush and you start making gigantic piles. If you only have a small palette like me. Get up underneath there, boy. Showing up underneath there, boy. Okay, I think we have sufficiently matched the color. We've got this nice, soft, little blended sky, okay?
A bit more color to my brush. Maybe in our world there lives. Yep.
Maybe there's a couple little clouds out here.
Just a happy little cloud up here. We can make the indication of a little cloud. Just
A little cloud, just by tapping.
There he is.
Come underneath.
There he is. Little cloud. Little cloud. Oh, big cloud.
Oh, he's a big
So
cloud. This guy's big.
Let your imagination take you wherever you want to go. But all we're doing is just tapping in some basic little shapes here. We will put one on the other side. We don't want to have
Let's put one
that.
over here, guys.
Something like that. Now then, while we have that lavender color on the brush, the blue and the crimson, we'll just come down here and fill in the whole bottom of this.
Let's just fill it in.
Once again, all we're doing here is just reflecting the colors from the sky into the water. There we are. Now then, let's take and wash the old brush. We wash our brushes with odorless paint thinner, and I really suggest that you use odorless thinner, or you'll become very unpopular around the home front. There's a screen down here in the bottom of the bucket that I scrub the brush against, and we'll shake it off and just beat the devil up. That really is the fun part of this whole technique. Just clean the brush, and very lightly. 3 hands and smear. And it'll make instant clouds.
Yes, they will.
And you can continue to blend them until they absolutely just disappear. It's up to you. Up to
Gonna
you.
leave ours nice and light, guys.
All right. I think maybe today in this little painting, let's build us a little mountain. For that, we'll use some black, a little Prussian blue, a little alizarin crimson, maybe some Van Dyke brown.
Van Dyke brown, let's do it.
Black, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, a little Van Dyke brown. Pull the paint out as flat as you can get it. Really get tough with it. Cut across.
Tough.
Get our little roll of paint. Lives right on the edge of the knife.
Come on,
You
guys.
have to make your first major decision. Where does your mountain
do it.
live?
What's this mountain look like? Let me see if we can.
It does now. Our mountain lives right there. With a very firm pressure, just literally push the paint right into the fabric. Right into the fabric. This is a chance to really get tough. Take out all your frustrations and hostilities and whatever. Maybe there's
another one that lives over here, this little guy.
Wherever you want him.
Let's come up.
Wherever you want him. This technique is so fantastic because it allows you individuality. You use no patterns, no tracings.
No tracing, but we're trying to copy him today.
And turn you loose in the world.
Oh shit, Bob, give me a minute.
You can move this paint. You can pull it. It'll slide right on top of there. Just like so. And if we had a dry canvas, at this point you'd be in agony city. Because the paint will not move like it does on this wet surface. And that's what the liquid way does. It allows us to actually blend color right up here. Blend color.
There we go.
And it's also an excellent way here of laying out your whole mountain. By pulling it in the direction like this, downward, you can begin laying out all the different ideas for highlights and shadows in your mountain without being committed. There we go. Now,
Yeah, a little commercial break. Give me
put a little
a chance,
highlight
baby.
on that mountain. Today,
Okay.
let's take titanium white. I'll reach up here.
Titanium white.
Midnight black. I want a grayish color.
Oh, midnight black.
So just black and white.
Black and white. Black and white, baby.
Mix it a little, but I want to leave it sort of marble, so there's a lot of things happening in there. Pull the paint out, and once again, our little roll of paint right on the edge of the knife.
Right on the edge of the knife.
Touch, no pressure. And just slide right down the mountain there, with no pressure. Absolutely no pressure. There, we painted
See,
this before.
you gotta watch how he holds the knife, you
When I
guys.
was teaching my son Steve to paint,
He's holding it vertical to the canvas,
just to pretend that he was a whisper,
right?
just floated right across.
Same angle.
And that way he understood how delicate of a touch. So maybe that's a good analogy, good way to remember it. Just be a whisper.
Same angle of the canvas. This time he's kind of pulling straight
Very
down.
delicate. And by applying no pressure,
No
it allows
pressure.
this paint to break. In other words, it leaves all these little holes in it. And that's what really makes it look neat. Makes it look like a mountain. And it's very simple.
Where we at? Where we at, Bob? Over here a little bit.
It's a shadow color for that. We'll use a little white. Oh, a little bit of the Prussian blue.
Prussian blue.
Maybe just a touch more. I'm gonna add a little Van Dyke brown, maybe even a little black in there.
A little black, a little Van Dyke brown. Jesus Christ, Bob.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. That's a nice color.
It's a little bit more brown than mine.
Decide what color you want.
It's
your
what's so
shadows
hard
be.
to,
What they should
when you
be.
think about trying to make something look exactly the same, it's so hard to mix the same colors,
We can
you know, that he's making or that I make.
Of all kinds of little shadows in there.
It's hard to mix
Just a
that
touch more
same
blue
amount of
color
paint,
so it
so
shows up a little better. You can see
don't
it.
worry.
There,
There we go.
there.
A little bit down here.
Touch in here. Every highlight needs its own individual shadow. If it doesn't have its own shadow, it just sort of lays there dead. It won't play with you. There. Something like that. And you can sort of play back and forth. Maybe you want to go back in here and just change the shape of this a little bit so it has a little more character to it. You can
Put a
do
little
it.
bit of black in
On
mine.
this piece of canvas, you have total and complete power. You can literally do anything here. You have ultimate power on this piece of canvas. Shoot, when I go home, I don't have power of anything but the garbage. But here,
Oh, slide against his wife. I don't have anything power but the garbage.
move mountains.
Poor bastard.
Can move mountains, change the course of rivers.
I'm gonna add a little bit of white to mine too, just to make the snow kind of stand out. It's so gray.
Shadow right underneath there. Okay. Maybe here and there, a little something like that.
Here and there and here.
Dry brush. And just tap on and diffuse the base of this mountain so it looks like it's sort of laying in the mist down here. But always follow the angles. Follow those angles. There, and then lift upward. Just enough to take out the tap marks and to blend everything together.
Blend it all, baby, blend it all.
There. See there? That's all we need. Tell you what, sometimes it's a lot of fun.
Mine look the same as his, guys?
You
Sort
can
of?
see things here. I like to have a lot of depth in my paintings. So bad.
Sure do, Bob.
We'll just put another little range of mountains right here. Just drop them in, same way. And watch how it pushes that first range back. That's simple. Just put them in. Same exact way as we did the others. Scrape off the excess paint, blend them out.
See, he didn't really scrape off the excess paint though, because he wants them to be darker on these first ones than they are in the ones in the back.
Back to the highlight
I'm
color.
gonna use my 1-inch brush. Damn thing.
Same thing. Follow those angles.
Come on, Bob, don't leave me.
Those noises are just in there.
Don't leave me, Bobby.
It comes right down like that. See,
Got
pull it over here and blend it together. But notice the angles. Angles are very important. If light's coming through here, it's only going to strike at a given angle. So most of your highlights will be in the same basic angle, and most of your shadows will be in the same basic angle, depending on where your light's coming from.
There. See how quiet he is? You guys tell me I'm quiet. He's whispering.
Dry brush. And once again, just tap this a little to create the illusion of mist down at the base. And lift upward. All right. Now let's have some fun.
Shoot, Bob.
Tell you what, let's do. We just use that same old brush. I'm going to take a little of the white, a little bit of that mountain color, mix them together, and I'm just sort of pushing the brush. Get a little color on it. Maybe way back here in the background there's some little foothills. And the little
All right.
foothills can be made just...
He's gotten ahead of me, guys, because he made more of a bigger pile of paint than I did. My own mistake. When you paint with Bob, or when you paint with me, you use a lot of paint, but he uses a lot, okay? I thought I used a lot. Shit. That guy uses a mountain of paint. A literal mountain. Come this way, just like he does, right? Give ours a couple trees off to the side. Blend it in. I might have started too low compared to his. We're gonna have to make our foothills real small back here. Really small. This damn. It's funny that some colors will run on your palette. Like Van Dyke Brown, I always seem, it's like really runny. Seems to me anyway. And Cad Yellow sometimes if you don't mix it up well enough. And then some are so thick that it's even hard to get them onto your brush. So, get rid of this crimson pile. Make some room to work with, like Bob always says. Got our black, we're gonna need that for the trees later. Got our little snow color, shadowy snows over there. Take just the littlest bit. I'm gonna come back in and just make them just a tad more noticeable. Put some real deep shadows back in there. Right, just some deep stuff. Okay, that's looking pretty similar. It's looking pretty similar. We could make this mountain top a little bit taller. Throw some white down in here. Make it look pretty much the same as Bob's. Some of that shadow underneath. What do we always say, guys? If we're gonna have light, we gotta have dark, right? Our little mist, or you can do it like I do with the little circles. Swipe up in the direction that we laid the paint down. Blender out, blender out, blender out. Okay. take the time, just wash my brushes. Maybe I'll get the big Bob Ross gigantic palette one day, and then I won't even be able to film. You just see a palette of paint. All right, nice soft brush, dry. Want it to be dry. Okay, we're gonna back up a few seconds here. Let's back up a little bit, Bob. Oh, Bobby, back it up. All right.
Brush, I'm gonna take a little of the white, a little bit of that mountain color, mix them together, and I'm just sort of pushing the brush, get a little color of it. Maybe really back here in the background, there's some little foothills. The foothills can be made just by doing something as simple as this, just tapping downward. Just tapping downward. There. That's all there is to it. Gently. Little quarter-inch strokes. Very small. Lift upward.
Gently.
Look like little trees that live way back here in the distance. Far, far away. Pulling straight down. Straight down. It's most important to come straight down.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And then gently coming across will make the indication of instant reflections. Sometimes it's fun to have several layers here, and you can do that just by doing it the same way. There, tap in some basic little shapes, pop it up, make it look like little things far away. And then we'll put in another little reflection. As you come forward, each layer should get a little bit darker. A little bit darker. Oh, shoot, I tell you what, let's have some real fun. Maybe there's another one that comes way out. There, something like that. Something about like that. Once again, we need our little reflection, so just give it a little downward pull. Go across. And wherever. I don't know. You sort of have to make up your mind. Each one of these, though, will create another plane in your painting and help that illusion.
We are quickly running out of room.
I'm going to take a little sap green, a little yellow, just tap the brush the same way. And as things get closer to us, we begin seeing a little color. So we can just, I'm using the same old dirty brush, just add a little yellow to it, some sap green. We can just begin tapping in the indication of little colors that you can see. When things are far away from you, it's difficult to see color. Maybe just a hint of green back here. There we go.
All right, I think we're caught up. Just without.
Touch of the liquid white, put it down here, pull it out very flat. And I'm going to add a small amount of the bright red, very, very small amount. Cut across. You want to go right up in here. You just act like you're trying to cut a hole right in the canvas. There. Take out really all your hostilities here. Just really get tough with it. Just back and forth like you're trying to saw a hole through there. This will create the illusion of a little water line. Also, is a nice light area between the darks. It separates, makes everything really stand out and look good. Okay, maybe let's have some fun. Clean off the spot to work here. Let's take some black. We use some Prussian blue, phthalo green, alizarin crimson. There we go. We just mix up a pile of color. Okay, let me grab a old brush here. Maybe we'll just use a little fan brush. You could do this with a 1-inch brush, fan brush, whatever. Just use a little fan brush today. Load a lot of color into the bristles. And let's have in our world some happy little evergreen trees. Just use the corner of the brush as you work down the tree. Push harder and harder, bending the bristles. Down here, ooh, we're really getting tough. We're just bending it all the way down to the furrow. Get tough. Show it who's boss. These little evergreens live right in your fan brush. You just sort of times have to really get forceful and push them out. There they go. Here comes another one. And you decide how many trees you want. You decide. Really, all we're trying to do here is show you technique. We use no patterns and no tracings. Strictly up to you, because you can learn to compose as you paint if you'll just practice. you just practice a little. But if you like to use patterns, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. And you can trace your pattern on here, put liquid white over it. And the liquid white is still transparent enough that you can see the tracing through it, if you like to do that. Personally, I enjoy the freedom that comes with not having a pattern. Because you can literally, as I mentioned earlier, you can learn to compose and create your paintings as you go. And you look at them, you begin to see things. And with practice, you'll be able to see more and more. After you've done a dozen paintings or so, you won't believe what you can do. Every day I get letters from fantastic people all over the United States and several foreign countries. And they're sending us pictures of paintings that you wouldn't believe. And they've never had an art lesson. All they've done is they've watched the TV series and they've learned. And you can too. Okay. Let's grab an old 1-inch brush. Maybe we'll have some bushes down here at the base of these trees. Just sort of push upward with the brush and make the indication of some happy little bushes that live right down here. Watch here. Turn the brush over. We'll tap in a little color underneath. I know you're saying, Bob, you have really messed it up this time, but you watch. One of the most fantastic things about this whole technique is the fact that we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents, because very soon, you learn to work with anything that happens. And it takes all the fear out of painting. There. You just tap some of that into there too. As you've probably figured out by now, this is going to end up being some gorgeous reflections that live right under that tree. So we just take a 2-inch brush, grab, and pull straight down, very gently. Just pull it straight down, over here, straight down. And then go across. And we have instant reflections. That easy. Now, I have several of each brush going, so I don't have to spend all my time just washing the brushes.
Yeah, well, lucky
Dip the
you.
brush into a little liquid white. Be right back. Grab a little satin green, a little yellow. Let's go right up in here. And let's just put some little sparkles out here on these bushes. Look at that, sun's playing through there. Just zooming through. A little yellow ochre here and a little Indian yellow. Occasionally, at least a touch of the bright red. And just vary your colors. Vary your colors. There we go. And work in layers. Do one little bush at a time. Don't get greedy. Sometimes it starts working so well. We decide to do all our bushes at once, and then there's no separation between them. No depth. Poor little bush just gets lost there. There. A little heavier in the yellow ochre. Just enough to change the flavor a little bit, make it stand out as an individual. There we go. Now, on the other side, we'll do the same basic thing. Sap green, cad yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre. There. Grab a little bit more of the green. Look at that. Do you ever think you could make all these gorgeous bushes that easy? You really can. Really and truly can. There. Okay, maybe, tell you what, let's have some fun. Let's just reflect a little of that down into the water. I don't want a lot of reflection, but just a little. Just tap a little of that color right down to the water. On the other side, same thing. There. You can make some of the most beautiful reflections in this technique that you've ever seen. And when I was a traditional painter, reflections are one of those things that absolutely drove me crazy. And this technique, it may be one of the easiest things that happens. Just come across. And when you pull this down, oh, so gentle. One hair and some air. That gentle, easy.
That gentle.
Caress it very lightly, very, very gently. Now, let's put a few little trunks in our trees. We'll take some white, a little dark sienna, mix them together. Tiny little roll of paint on the knife. We can go up in here, decide where your trunk lives in the tree. Just touch. Now we're not going to see the entire trunk because we're going to have some limbs that protrude out in the front of the of the trunk. So just here and there. And you can scratch in the indication. Makes it look like there's a lot of trees there instead of just a few. There we go. See? There. And you can just take and scrape right through the paint and make it look like little sticks and twigs and all kinds of little things that live back in the woods there. That's where all my little friends live. The little rabbits and the squirrels and all those little characters. You played with me before. You know, I have a lot of little animal friends. A lot of times we show them on the program. I'll show you some for the series is over. I get a lot of letters in one of the earlier series. I showed a little squirrel that lived with me named Peapod the Pocket Squirrel. He's something else. And now he's an old squirrel. He's just about ready to turn loose. And we turn all of our animals back to the wild. We don't keep them. We don't try to make pets out of them. Okay, let's take a little sap green, a little yellow, make a dark green here. And let's just begin putting some highlights on some of these trees. As you work down the tree, allow it to get darker and darker and darker until it just fades right off into the very dark color. Remember that your light's coming predominantly from the right in this painting. Your mountain tells you so right there. So a little more color on the right than on the left. We'll give that indication in the trees. There. But see down in here, keep it very dark because you need a nice shadow area there. It makes it look deep, very deep. There we go. A few over here. Something about like that. This old tree needs some. There we go. Just drop them right on. There. Darker, darker, darker down here toward the base. We got some nice highlights in there. Evergreens down there. All this needs something to stand on so it doesn't fall over in the lake here. And well, it might be a river. Whatever you want it to be. Take some Van Dyke Brown. And let's put some land under all this. Pull sort of the angle that you think the land would flow. Remember that water always sits in a recessed area. So chances are that there's sort of an angle coming down like this. There we go. Chances are. That's not 100% true, but most of the time. A little brown and white. Come right back in here. No pressure. Just like putting snow on the mountain. Just like putting snow on the mountain. There. The angles are very important here. Very important. You wouldn't want to bring these straight down. They look like cliffs hanging there. There we go. A little bit of our liquid white. That'll give us a little water line, clean the bottom up, sort of bring it all together. There we go. There. A little back in here. Maybe a little ripple here and there and here. Wherever. Painting is a very individual thing. So when you're doing your painting, you change it any way that makes you feel good. Because we each see nature through different eyes. And the way I see it may not be the way necessarily that you see it. I only want to show you a technique that makes painting very easy and that you can do. Anybody can do. I've absolutely never met anyone who could not paint. There. Just take the point of the knife and we'll cut a few little sticks and twigs and things in here. This also helps show different layers. It shows depth in your painting. There, a few over this side. Something like that. Sometimes there's a little bush or two that grows down at the edges. You can drop them in. Just sort of helps fill everything in. Shoot, I think we're about to the point where we can sign this one. Take a little paint thinner, a little bit of the bright red. Make the paint very thin, almost like ink. And let's go right up in here and we'll sign this one. I really hope you've enjoyed this painting. It's one that'll bring you a lot of pleasure because of all the colors. Makes you feel good in here. And from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting and God bless, my friend.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it, guys? I'd say we kept up pretty well. considering we didn't have the same size canvas, and he makes a lot more paint than I do. You know, when you're making up your piles, I think it came out relatively well compared to his photo. I don't really like these downward sagging trees, but for this painting, I did them downward instead of upward. I always like going upward. It makes them look, you know, more vibrant and alive, but there's nothing wrong with that painting right there, guys. Bob can do it. Where's that? Bob can do it. You can do it, okay? So, you know, it's nothing I would change about this. It looks great. It's going to be for sale on my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart. A one-of-a-kind Bob Ross-ish original. What I wanted to do just to change up the flavor, right? Got to change the flavor when you paint with Bob. You don't want to have it all the same colors and stuff. So we'll go back in, scratch in our sticks and twigs. Now I've got a gigantic mess of brushes that I need to clean up. So, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching. You know, subscribe to my channel. It should be down here or up here. Instagram.com/happylittlelandscapes or at happylittlelandscapes. Go to my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/happylandscapeart. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/happylandscapeart. And of course, subscribe, however I'm holding it. Put subscribe right there. Subscribe. Right? The more subscribers I have, the more paintings I'll be able to bring you guys. I can only reach so many people, so I'm counting on you to bring the rest of them to me, okay? So we can sit here and paint every day. I mean, how much fun would that be to sit and paint every day? So, share this with your friends, with your family, put it on your Facebook page, copy the link, paste it. It should, if you're watching on a phone, it should say share right down here. Oh, right down there. Little arrow that says share. Copy the link, post it, you know, when you try this one, post it to Facebook and wherever else that you like to post. Bring all those people back to me and we can sit and paint here every day. That'd be my dream. Make my dream come true, right? Besides that, this thing's getting hot and sweaty underneath, but I think it turned out really well. So I want to thank you guys for sticking with me. I had fun. Hope you had fun. Hope you tried this one with me, and I hope everything came out well enough that we could see it on the iPad. You know, I was kind of focused, but besides that, you guys take care. Have a great day.